Hi everyone, Kelt here, bringing you my thoughts on the British royal family, and today I'll be talking about Meghan and Harry and the coronation plans. Well, things are moving fast. Meghan is said to be no longer seeing Mr. Getty, as the family have completely closed her off from him. His ex-wife, with whom he is still very close, and his children, have made sure that Meghan will no longer be seeing Mr. Getty, and from what I hear, the meetings have completely stopped as well. It's rumoured that there's an injunction on her possibly to keep her away from him. Either that or he has told her he wants nothing to do with her. Hopefully he's done both, because we know what Meghan is like for a second and third attempt. Remember Harry and the wedding in Jamaica? Well, I've been told that there will be no more talk of the Getty family in the same sentence as Meghan Markle, so that's good, isn't it? Meghan seems to be keen on portraying herself and Harry as being very much together, and this is obviously all with the coronation in mind. The talk of them having been invited to stay at Buckingham Palace is not a privilege for them. It's actually not the best of all the palaces and absolutely wired up, so they would not get away with saying or doing anything untoward. They would be well and truly watched, and there would be staff there who would be watching their every move. And, incidentally, they are the very same staff who had made previous bullying claims against Meghan. It sort of looks good from the outside being invited to stay in an apartment in Buckingham Palace, but the reality is far from that, and maybe it's to help them decline information. It's also to keep them well away from Prince William and Catherine and the children, because there have always been risks from the crazy intruder, but now it seems that the prince, the spare, is just as crazy. Which brings me to another point. There's talk now of Harry allegedly being insane, just like his ancestor, King Henry VIII. And I'm thinking this has been put out on purpose, either by Meghan's PR or by the palace. I discussed about a year ago in one video that Meghan would want to make Harry look insane, and that way she could have him institutionalised and take all his money, or use it in a divorce. I've always said that Meghan would rather be a widow or have an insane husband who was incarcerated, so she could have his money and her freedom. Well, the whole show carries on, and it's certainly keeping the monarchy in the news, which is what they want at the moment. We did from all official photos and non-official photos. Apparently, King Charles wants both sons to pose for photos with him in their full regalia. As you would expect, he would want. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. The thing is, he wants photos of himself and his two sons, and he also wants photos of himself with Catherine and the grandchildren, but no photos at all with Meghan. The full regalia thing has not been totally decided nor confirmed at the moment, so that's up in the air. I have heard that there's to be no formal role for Prince Harry, and they do not want him in his full regalia, but King Charles does, so just for the photos. So I don't know how they're going to do this. If he's got no official duties to perform, how are they going to get this photo? Obviously, he's going to have a change of clothes, change for the photos, and then change back again. It does sound very complicated. Harry and Meghan are also trying to put it out there that they have the upper hand in all their negotiations with King Charles about the coronation, when in fact it's the opposite. They don't have any upper hand, they don't have any say in any of this, and they are basically freaking about being left out of everything and appearing to be insignificant. And Meghan is desperate to go down in history at the coronation with photos, and if she's not able to go, then she will use the whole thing to point out how much she is Diana too, and how terrible the royal family are. Actress Rebel Wilson has spoken about a very awkward encounter, well, awkward for Meghan, where she and her mother had met with Meghan and Harry, and after being introduced, she said that Harry could not have been nicer, but that Meghan was cool. She said that her mother was asking questions such as, "Where are your kids?" So Meghan apparently went quite cool when asked about where her children were. Interesting, don't you think? Great that somebody had the nerve to ask her as well. Isn't it normal, though, to ask someone where their children are or how they are? To go cold and weird is not normal. We've known for a long time that Harry wants to bring down the monarchy, and in doing so, he's making himself look like an insane person. He's making himself look soulless, and also he's risking a lot of things, especially with his Afghanistan comments, and also with his confessions about his drug use, because he could be kicked out of the USA. So I doubt it, because he's the son of a king, but he needs to bear all these things in mind. Harry was recently diagnosed as being ADD, attention deficit disorder, and I think most of us can see that in him. It's not uncommon, and it's not a big deal, but I think there's a lot more going on with him than just that. Also find it interesting that Prince Harry claimed that his father, King Charles, traumatised him by refusing hugs. Really? Well, there are many pictures of Harry being hugged by his father. And in normal families, if a father refuses a hug, quite often it's for a valid reason. It might be but that they're rushing off to work and they've got to prize their child off them, or for whatever reason. But Prince Harry is using it all to make it seem as if he had this terrible, terrible upbringing, and he was such a victim. There are many men who are not tactile or demonstrative. Charles, with all his weird upbringing, was a lot more demonstrative than you would expect him to be. So, yes, it's the same old Harry taking on the victim thing, just like Meghan. Oh, and the retaliation from Harry and Meghan, whereby they are implying that they were not evicted by stating that they've just decided not to renew the lease, is a complete lie. This is because they previously talked about the lease being renewed at a different time of year, and it would not be at a point of renewal at this time. So they're being evicted, and it seems that the palace really want everyone to know that. Omid Scobie and the Sussex team are putting it out about the lease, but it's not true. They just don't want to lose face. Well, it doesn't work. It just exposes more untruths. Also, hearing that the wife likes to be curtsied to and addressed by her title. I wonder if that's Duchess, or whether she actually manages to get them to address her as Your Royal Highness. Remember the video of the children's party? And while she doesn't want to be bothered with requesting this of visitors herself, apparently, or more likely, she hasn't got the nerve herself to demand this of people, she makes sure that her aides inform and explain to visitors before they meet. So I've heard at the moment that they're still undecided about attending the coronation. I doubt it's their decision. Let me have your thoughts on this, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.